started.
Yeah,
First
well,
of all, thank you so much for the invitation and for arranging this talk. I think it's really, really important and relevant nowadays to have these conversations, and geospatial tools and intelligence is really kicking off. And I think in all fields and regions and aspects, we are adopting these technologies, and it became daily part of the daily use of our lives. So I think it's very important to have these talks, and thank you so much for making this happen.
yeah,
And
it's yeah,
I also noticed that both of our guests are based in Saudi Arabia, one in Jeddah, if I'm right, and another one in Riyadh. I'm also based in Riyadh, and I think we all have this thing in common that we share the context of
Yeah.
Saudi and how digital it becomes. And I keep saying that Saudi Arabia is becoming a really, really interesting case study itself because of it's sort of revolutionary case to me with all the mega projects and the level that it requires. So I think we are all embedded in the same context.
Oh, by the way,
Um,
I actually based in Riyadh, but I'm working between Jeddah and Riyadh always. But yeah, I suppose to
okay.
based.
I know that there is this little interesting thing between people who are based in Jeddah and people who are based in Riyadh. I'm still trying to figure out why, but I know that these two cities are sort of competing with each other still. And yeah, there are differences in point of views who prefers one and another. Okay, I think we are ready to dive into the topic. And well, I was going through your profiles and your backgrounds. I think both of you have really interesting experience on working with geospatial tools and different methodologies with different stakeholders and organizations. And at the beginning, I want all of us to dive into the context and the background of how it all started and what's the history and how overall the geospatial intelligence shaped our approach and behavior. Because first, like for example, from my experience, when I'm urban planner and architect, so I also use different kind of tools, and I'm constantly testing what's new on the market, and I'm always playing with what's coming up. And first, for example, when I learned about digital twins, it was 2018 or 2019, and I think all these conversations really started to become a thing starting from 2015. The talks about smart city, the movements, the digital twins. AI was still back then a very new thing. Right now, we are using it as it's our intern or personal assistant in everything, basically. So I wanted to ask you, what are the most significant trends from your experience that are shaping the use of geospatial tools today, and how organizations make data-driven decisions? It was not like this before. I think all of us were struggling to arrange the big data, to analyze the data, to collect information. And now we talk about smart city, and there is no smart city without data availability, or organizations, smart organizations, without having proper adoption of proper tools. So I would leave up to you, whoever wants to get started, about opening the conversation about how things are shaped nowadays and what changed within the organizations and also overall.
Okay, if you allow me. So, as you mentioned in the past, the spatial data, it was only niche about GIS and asset visualizations, etc., etc. And this topic has been improved since that days to move from just visualizing the data or analyzing the data to by using the IoT Internet of Things, as well as when the AI came, as well as machine learning before. All this stuff made the spatial data came from asset visualization to strategic decision making day by day, because now you're talking about real time data as well as uh, the streaming to all this stuff, for example, the traffic, etc. So it's come from just asset visualization to across all sectors almost for operation, logistics, maintenance, all this stuff now it's relying and based on all location intelligence by IoT, etc. So yeah, it's a huge improvement for last couple of years. And as you mentioned as well, smart cities, it cannot be smart city without all these sensors or IoT to make the city able to make fast decisions, strategic decisions, understand how the impact will happen if we close specific road or specific segment for operation or for maintenance, what the impact for the citizen there. So yes, there is a huge improvement for last. I will not say last 10 years. It's maybe around 5, 6 years when all the cloud services came, the IoT sensors, all these new technologies showed up that take the spatial data for next level.
What do you think, Jamal?
I agree with my colleague regarding the most significant trends shaping the GIS and geospatial location intelligence today, because as you know, over the last decade, location intelligence has moved from being from only just a back office GIS function into the very core of strategic decision making, as you know. So we see now across sectors, especially in government, in mobility, in real estate, in retail as well. We have seen clear evolution about the maps, the data. It converted from static map to predictive to dynamic and integrated with special insights as well. So when we focus and when we're talking about geospatial intelligence in the Middle East, we noticed the adoption curve, like my colleague mentioned, accelerated significantly after 2020. So as a smart city systems like Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, they have demand for real-time data, for real-time geospatial awareness for more than one industry at the same time, for infrastructure planning, for service delivery, and for citizen engagement as well. So to put it differently, we can say the most defining trend today regarding the geospatial intelligence, it related to business intelligence, no longer treating GIS as a silo and closed for only GIS users and GIS using platforms or something. No, we now see instead of this, they integrate with special data with ERP system, CRM system, and IoT, as my colleague mentioned, platforms to create like location awareness ecosystem. So, and I need to emphasize about another key shift is cultural, because decision makers now are no longer for asking for only maps or basic maps. They asking for special answers to business they problems. So that's when how we will know location intelligence has truly matured.
I think that's both of your answers are really good, and it goes really deep to what's happening, especially in Saudi. And what you mentioned, Jamal, about 2030 goals and the KPIs, I think in Saudi that defines a lot and it really drives the process because of all the requirements and what's the expectation. How do you both think this is? Like, what's the part or what's the contribution of the vision in this process that we are witnessing nowadays, and what's the part of where actually these technologies are going? Is it something naturally evolving in Saudi and elsewhere, or is it something that is top down managed, if my question makes sense?
Yes, I believe the demand in KSA, we see we are working in mega and giga projects at the same time in more than one country. For instance, Neom, Gdeya, Misk, and so on. So all of these projects need to raise and reach the high quality of data, high accuracy, not just transformation from digital construction to GIS or making normal digital twin models. No, they seeking for real data, real-time data for infrastructure, for retail, for and we see now the technology involving in real estate industry. Like if you know, Al Medina company now have a vision regarding this. So I see there is a lot of changes, and it's very competitive as well. So who can build his own perspective with different transformations from type to type, from collecting data, how we can automate the processing to avoid any traditional process, any traditional workflows. So I think that's it.
Yeah, I think yeah.
If I can think about it, so as per the Vision 2030, now Saudi Arabia aimed to be leading in something in AI and smart cities, digital twin, all these digital transformation topics, which, yeah, as mentioned by Muhammad, the Neom and all the real estate companies that are around Saudi Arabia, but still the regulation need to be going fast as much as the technology go fast, the policies, etc. So to build the infrastructure or building ecosystems, etc., that can deliver all the requirement to build these smart cities, it's still the technology relying on the regulations as well as the policies, the data exchange, the collaboration between the entities, etc., which all these still in progress, still in little bit, I'm not saying it's a mature level, but it's still in beginning levels. So all this is still ongoing, but because the Vision 2030, it's going faster than we expect. Even, for example, now the permissions for drones or data collection, now it's making the data collection or building the data itself much easier than we just relying or يعني, before we relying on satellite imagery or aerial photogrammetry, etc., which is a little bit more expensive. But now people can get permission for drones and doing better data collections and enhancing the data richness of the data itself for organizations. So because the vision of 2030, everything become more accelerators, become more faster. But the technology, not only the part, we have only the policies, regulations that support the other part, which the technology itself to be able to build the ecosystems and build proper infrastructure for location intelligence.
I totally agree. And I think we are all learning from all sides, from private sector, from public sector perspective, how to regulate all of that, because it's not something that any of us have done before. And I think we are just trying to assume the best we can. And it makes me thinking, and recently I've been reflecting on it. I think there is this ongoing conversation, not only as you said, the policy is trying to catch up the development right now, not vice versa, but also there is this very interesting conversation regarding if we teach the next generation the proper tools and skills, and if they are like AI aware, for example. And I was so surprised to see that, like, for example, in the universities, in the master's program, from policy point of view, there was something very interesting that I've reading recently, that for the policy students, I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly what was the department that was researched, but there was only one university who officially integrates the AI in their curriculum for the master. And I was thinking, if we don't teach students how to, to be aware of what's happening, then how we are able to regulate that. And it leads me to the question to you. I think both of you work with young professionals and young talent to bring this innovative mindset and digital tools to the organizations that you work for. But how do you feel about the availability of the talent or the training for the talent to be updated, to be able to integrate the geospatial intelligence tools in the processes that both of you lead? And what are the main challenges that you face in this specific issue? Because based on my experience, I think it's been only for the last couple of years that in the process of the daily life, we started to actually use like BIM to like fully integrate GIS, and the digital twinning still is something that some of the companies do not really integrate. And the most challenging part is to find the right people who are educated, who have the proper skill sets, and who bring additional input in the process. So how do you deal with that, may I ask?
So to be honest, it's not about the education, it's about the persons, the quality of the person himself. If he has the eager to learn, willingness to learn, to improve, that will give him the advantage within the technology going fast. It's not the college or university, actually they focus on giving you the foundation of the science itself. So to understand how to build the accuracy of these kind of sources, etc., etc. But the willingness, because even after, let's say, we said just within 5 years, the improvement that happened within the technology it's extremely fast and significant changes. So if I'm gonna say relying on the university itself, that will be a huge challenge for university to keep changing even the let's say the module they're teaching, etc. But the end of the day, the people supposed to be have the willingness to learn every day, to keep matching or up to date with the technology, what's going on in the market, etc. Because you build something you're looking to build something different, to build something unique, you have to understand where the people reach so you can copy and paste, then innovate.
Fair enough, that
Yes,
makes sense.
I totally agree with Al Hussein. I 100%. And at the end of the day, I believe it's not just about what degree you are hold, because we are seeing talented guys have knowledge more than expert in the field. So that makes sense. So, but how about you are willing to keep learning, to keep adapting with new features, new technologies, what happened in the world for time being. So it evolving so fast that even the best formal education can be outdated if we don't keep developing ourselves. So I believe continuous learning, eager to learn from time to time, curiosity. So which means we will make us have ability to mature our mindset. So I believe it refer to the mindset of the guy, and from our side, how we can support this, we can empower the guys in our teams. From because sometimes the guys don't know from which point he can start or she can start. So this is from our side how we can make it like guidance for them, give our experience, our last chances, so it makes sense for them as well.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's really important to lead the employees and the team members and to show them direction and to help them to improve themselves. And I really appreciate hearing that you are looking for the talent who are eager to improve themselves, because that's the most important asset in person, I believe. But when it comes down to the organization and dealing with the challenges, that come with the development and evolution of the new tools and technologies. May I ask you, what are the key challenges that you face based on your experience? For example, the data accuracy. I've been hearing a lot that coordination between different government bodies and institutions still remain the key challenge. I know a lot of countries try to unify and centralize data and make it super accessible and available, but I think still we are struggling a little bit everywhere, more or less. So what do you feel is the biggest challenge that you're facing nowadays?
Yeah, first of all, regarding this point, I need to emphasize about the Middle East now has a unique landscape. So when it comes to location intelligence, on one hand, the region has invested heavily in digital transformation and smart city programs as we see daily. So especially under like Al Hussein mentioned, under Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 and as well as UAE's smart government initiatives in UAE, all of these policies have accelerated the geospatial maturity from a beginning to a mature level and create strong national data infrastructure as well. So, however, challenges remain. So, the biggest hurdles are not always technical. We have to align with this because they often organizational. The data transformation across agencies, across standards, and one of most challenges we face limited data sharing frameworks between several departments, several municipalities, for instance. So it definitely slow down integration. So another concern is, like you mentioned, regarding the data quality and regarding the privacy of these data. While governments are opening more data sets at the same time, trying to maintaining accuracy, trying to updating the frequency of the data, and ensuring the compliance with privacy. So these regulations are still evolving. So on the advantage side, to be like realistic, the Middle East has something powerful. They have strong potential. They have talented people. They have young, talented people. So they have tech-driven workforce. So when we combine all of this, that with the government lead programs for national geospatial portals and AI integrations and digital twins, so you will get momentum that few regions can match. So um, to recap, my summarize, the key to success will be continued collaboration. This is the first thing between public sector and private sector at the same time. So because location intelligence only thrives when data flows freely but responsibly at the same time. So this is my perspective about challenges, about advantages.
Yeah. Let me. So, from my point of view, yeah, it's part of, as Engineer Muhammad mentioned, that let's say the governance, first of all. So, the vision, it's close by the acceleration or the technology moving fast. All the agencies and entities has the ambition to improve or to improve themselves and provide something much better, etc. But we ended by with lack of governance, say, and the ecosystem that building the infrastructure for the government itself, which make, for example, maybe different entities building the same kind of data sets, different same layers, etc., which duplication of work with as well as wasting of some resources, wasting of time, effort, etc. But the centralization, or it's not about just storing the data in one place and keeping playing with the data itself. It's how to build the infrastructure to make all the data exchange live, or to make it all synchronized in the same time. So I can rely, for example, on municipal of transportation data, and I'm working in municipal of health, etc. In the same time, so the ecosystem or the infrastructure itself, it's have to moving fast with the vision itself as well. So the governance is supposed to be on top of the place, then building a proper ecosystem or infrastructure for the ecosystem that maintain all these improvement, all these changes that happen. As we mentioned, there is huge mega projects around the country. How to keep maintaining the update that's happened. You both living in Riyadh, so you can see the significant changes day by day. The road network, you can go for your home in the same time every day. It's fine. Some days it's already closed for new construction project. So all these, how to make it live, synchronized, how to build the ecosystem to make it available for all the citizens or for all agencies, how to collaborate all agencies together to build the centralized platform, the citizen, or to build for the decision maker as well. This is the key challenge, and I'm sure it's not only for Saudi or the region, it's a global challenge. And until now, the ecosystem, the people talking about, there is no clear vision how it's supposed to be built. If it's different systems connected to each other, it's central system and all working on top of it. So this is a challenge. It's globally, it's not only here, but because we are moving fast, it's become uh, a key challenge, one of the main factors, because all the sectors or agencies, it's not mature enough to be standalone as well as we are moving fast. So a little bit that, yeah, we need all the resources to be directed and focus on one direction so we can all grow together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree that it's a global. Yeah, sorry, Mohammed, please go on.
no. I just need to emphasize about one point regarding the ability to combine satellite image, IoT sensor data, and real-time mobility data as well with a machine learning algorithm, because it affect like dramatically improved accuracy and the prediction. So, for instance, I need to deep dive, not deep dive, in my current work. We working with Baladi to supporting MoMA and NHC. We have integrated field survey data from digital collection apps with high resolution base maps and AI models to automate quality checks, to automate how detect what happened in the field. So this shift our operations from react to proactive decision making. So regarding the measure, impact comes from cloud-based geospatial platforms like ArcGIS Online, Google Earth Engine that access to spatial data and the analytics across non-GIS users. So which means it not required only GIS users must use these platforms. And another point worth mentioning is the location intelligence today isn't about only collecting more data from the field. It's about connecting the right data resources intelligently to generate faster to smarter insights. Because I believe all of us seeing a lot of projects started at the same time and they waste a lot of money because there is no collaboration, because there is no communication between the different teams. So if there is the communication has improved between teams, between businesses, so it will be valuable for all.
I agree with both of you, and I also agree with the point that when we talk about geospatial systems, we most of the times we talk about coordination and communication on top of the innovation and all the digital layers that it comes with. And also, I agree that it's not a Saudi or Middle East issue; it's a global issue. But what makes it different is, I think, the way different regions or countries structure their governance. And why I think Saudi Arabia is unique is on top of the municipalities and the ministries and government and semi-government organizations that we have, there are also these mega projects that are structured in a very unique way, and they are the sizes of countries sometimes, and they have their own whatever structure, budgeting, governance, politics, direction, and I think it adds additional layer of how you integrate those live updates into the overall system, and it might be advantage, it might be disadvantage, depends on from which perspective you see this. But I think it just makes the case of Saudi very unique, that you have all these different layers that are coming together, and it just creates ecosystem which is not like any other. So yeah, I think this makes it even more interesting as something to tackle. Well, let's move on, understanding from the organizational point of view, or for the companies who are getting started or who want to improve their digital awareness or integration of the location intelligence and different tools or emerging tools that are coming up on the market. Where do you begin, or what are your lessons learned, or what are your advices or the stories that you would like to share for the groups or organizations who want to become smarter, I would say?
Okay, as I mentioned before, a couple of minutes ago, that first of all, copy and paste, then innovate. So see where the global reach in this specific topic. If you have specific solution, you know what you're aiming to solve, etc. You have to study what's happened before. So you can, when you implement a solution, you can understand the advantage of this solution, for example, because maybe someone built it before and it's not success. You can see it from one point of view, but as a spatial data, if you are talking about one layer, you will not be able to see the full picture. You have to combine multiple layers on top of it, so you can understand the trend of the issue or challenge, etc. So you have to understand where is the focus point, where you are going, and then you start looking what the previous history about this topic, etc. Then you start innovate, and don't even, I'm not person who's encouraging to innovate the wheel from scratch, actually. So it doesn't make sense to spend time, money, effort on something already built or something already has the advantage on top of it. For example, um, I'm gonna build a new software for Geospatial. What the difference between what we have as open source or commercialized, etc., etc. How to build the proper infrastructure? Is it easily to build it all based on open sources, or it's easily to get licenses, etc., etc. All this stuff. You have to proper invest your time, your money properly, because our specialty or our field is extremely expensive, from building the data to softwares, technology, etc. Even the people who's working on this field, they are a little bit more expensive. So it doesn't make sense to go to the market or going to or a challenge, etc., without understanding where the challenge that I'm aiming to solve, what the layer of the data set that I need to do or to build, and what already built, or I need to get it from a different source, or I'm going to get it to third party, or I have to build it from scratch, etc. So, and how to integrate the AI, IoT, machine learning, etc., to build additional layer on top of this, to make it much easier, cheaper for me. Because as I mentioned, it's a little bit expensive area. From technology, even software, hardware, everything is a little bit more expensive. So you're gonna spend a lot of money before you reach anywhere. So you have to focus, understand where are you going, what is the key factors or the key point that you're aiming to solve, what the level of details of the data itself, because the data it's huge. If I'm gonna talking countrywide, so the size of the data itself is very huge. So to build infrastructure again, to be able to store all this the data size and process it at the same time to analyze it to get output out of it, this will be a nightmare, and a lot of money gonna fly in this project. So you have to focus where are you going, what the key factors, what the challenge you aim to solve, and then start how to calibrate the data or change the data from different entities to build your own solution. Don't innovate the wheel from scratch at all. In this area, yeah, it will be a waste of money and time, effort, etc.
Yes, I agree as well with Al Hassan. And from my perspective, to be honest, I see organizations often think that to building location intelligence starts with technology, but actually it not start with technology. It start with strategy and how they can invest in to make a very good strategy. So the first step is defining the right business questions, not just collecting special data, as Hussein mentioned, from the stake of it. Once the use cases are clear enough, technology becomes the enabler, not the driver. So in our experience, like I mentioned at Baladi, when supporting municipalities across Saudi Arabia, across 5 or 6 cities, we see success came when we aligned the geospatial data collection with operational KPIs. So we can measure it, such as service coverage, response time, and asset condition as well. So that's alignment made the insights truly actionable, not just visual. So after that, regarding the build, the organization have to build a scalable data foundation, build a standardized base map, build very clear and mature metadata about the project, and interoperability as well with existing systems. So that's mentioned to Al Hussein when he mentioned regarding the don't start from scratch, because we have a lot of data. We have a lot of previous projects. We can get a lot of values for them. Many projects we see, as I mentioned, we see many projects fail because they skip this foundation. But as well as we see projects get more success because they build a very good strategy. They have potential about what they are need. They have awareness about the requirement. So I believe also in um, capacity investment. So as we mentioned, like in powerful and direction, our team. So location intelligence only uh, drivers value when the people using it understand and what they are seeing, not just routine tasks. So I believe the key lesson uh, regarding this discussion about this topic, so it doesn't start with tools, start with purpose, start with invest in your strategy and design the data around the decisions you want to make, not only you imagine.
Yeah,
I
don't build
completely
data
agree
yet.
with the philosophy. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I really like hearing that the data is enabler, not a driver, because I think sometimes people misinterpret the function or the role of the data, and then it becomes a bit chaotic process. But I completely agree with both of you, and I really like the business mindset of Al Hussein. He's very on point, wanting to be efficient and strategic about his decisions. I think that makes a total sense for me.
Thank you.
Um,
That's it.
well, I think we are almost reaching to the end, and I would wrap it up with your insights or thoughts about the future, about where this entire thing is going. What do you see coming? Because I am myself very passionate about looking at the AI and the usage, and I think every other week you see new thing coming up and like testing everything. And I think people are doing amazing job, really bringing the new tools on the market for the use. What do you think is the future, and where do you think this process is leading us?
I love the question, to be honest. So if you think about it, just a few minutes ago, Mohammed mentioned that they are made a combination between the field work, etc. So and as well as the machine learning, etc., to enhance a little bit the maps, etc., and make it the synchronization much better, right? And we are talking about AI and the IoT, sensor streamings, etc., etc. So all these elements gonna take us in some point that we're gonna build something. Let's say it self-healing maps. So the maps itself, it's not, it's difficult to build a map, but if you don't maintain the update, you don't maintain to keep change detection, etc., and to keep update your map, after a couple of months or a year or something, it will be outdated. It's useless. So the future is going to self-healing maps, which is making the map healing itself. It's something like alive. It's like a human being, let's say. So with IoT, with the sensor, with all these inputs, the map it can generate or updating itself by itself. There is no need to a lot of human engagement or manual work. So we have automation processes, we have tools, we have coding, we have IoT, we have machine learning, we have all this stuff. So you can now make that, let's say, a life cycle for the data. For, let's say, satellite imagery, it's going for particular processes every couple of months to change detection. So you can understand where are the trends, where the urban going, where the environment impact happens, etc. As well as, all right, we're gonna use the probe data to understand where the traffic going. There is a closure, there is a network closure there, whatever. So all this stuff, it will build something, we let's say a self-healing map. So the map gonna heal itself. It can keep itself up to date. There is not a lot of manual effort need to be implemented on top of these maps or to building the proper spatial data. So I'm saying it's not far away, maybe 1 or 2 years in future, that will be as an approach for most of the biggest entities in the world, because that will minimize the manual effort, that will increase the accuracy, will increase the richness of the data itself. So I don't expect that we are far away from this point. We are close to, and it's about building the foundation, and we keep it running.
Yes, regarding this point, regarding the next vision, I believe over the next 3 to 5 years, I believe location intelligence will evolve from being a decision support system to becoming an autonomous decision engine, as we mentioned before. And regarding the AI, I believe the AI will move us beyond the analysis into prediction, into understanding not only where things are, but where they are going to be. And regarding the fusion of IoT and geospatial analytics, will enable real-time data and real-time digital twin models for cities, for utilities, for transportation networks. So all of these systems that continuously sense, continuously learn and optimize as well. Uh, Focusing in the Middle East, this evolution aligns perfectly with smart city roadmaps. You know, a lot of entities, a lot of mega projects focus on smart city roadmaps for time being. Imagine municipalities automatically detecting infrastructure issues without extra effort in the field. So, through AI-driven geospatial monitoring or service delivery, dynamically, it based on mobility patterns. So that point are very important. So regarding the next frontier, I believe it's about maps. It's not about maps. It's about creating learning, location, intelligence, awareness, empowering people, sharing knowledge from project to project. That close the loop between insight and action.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think I'm really looking forward to see how these things will evolve all together. And what you were saying, I think I've been hearing recently that in the military security area, it's been already being implemented and used the like AI plus predefined options for actions, which minimizes the time for the decision making, especially when it comes to the critical situation and moments when you need to react quite fast. And I hope it will be just in the daily life of engineering and management of the spatial systems for the cities, especially because as both of you have mentioned, it's important to have those monitoring systems. And I think it just makes life so much easier to have everything automatized and centralized. Thank you, both of you. I think I'm seeing Emre, so I'm assuming that we've reached the end. And thank you
Yes.
so much for the conversation. I really enjoyed hearing both of you.
Yeah. It was really nice, and definitely you did very well. So because of that, I don't have any question. You covered very well, I think. So yeah, thank you again. It was really nice to hear your insights, and your experience was critical for us. So it's time to close, and we need to jump another session.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you
but
for
I'm
hosting.
but I'm sure we will do it again with you all, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
good
you.
So
day.
much.
Thank
Bye.
you for hosting. Thank you for
Good
the
day.
invitation. Thank you.
Yes.
Cheers.
Bye.